to get into Cambridge. You need to study all the time. You need to get 100% in all of your exams. You need to answer every question in the interview. You need to not have any outer interest. You need to always be reading, always be studying, always be in your room with your head in book. That is the only way you'll get to Cambridge and Oxford. The only way. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This video today is going to be my top 10 tips for making a successful application to Cambridge University. If you are new to my channel or this is the first video that you've watched, then I am starting in October at Cambridge University and I will be studying biological natural sciences. This video is just my top 10 tips. They're not ranked in any order. I just did them quite randomly, to be honest. Yeah, so it's just my top 10 tips really based on my experience and how I went about my application. I just sat down for my top 10 tips to give you guys out there who want to apply to Cambridge or any other university, as these tips can be applied to literally any other university, or if you're applying to college, like, apply it to yourself, take what you need from this video, and I hope that you get something useful from it. Yes, I hope you enjoy this video. If you like this video or you found it useful and gained some new information, then give this video a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more of these videos about my application, or any more videos about like this where I give some advice and give you guys some tips, then give this video a thumbs up and that would be great. So I have been thinking about doing this video. What's my hand doing? Anyway, I have been thinking about doing this video because I know that the application process starts quite soon when you go back into year 13, so I just thought that this would be a good time to film it and put up for you guys to watch. So yeah, we'll get straight into this video. Okay, so tip number 1, I have it written down just to make sure. Choose a subject and then choose a university. Don't do it the other way around. Think about what you're studying at A-level and then decide what degree you'd like to pursue or what career you want to pursue, and then decide on what degree you would like to read at university. Think about what you enjoy, what you do well in, which subject you get the best grades in. Just think about all that stuff, and also think about what you would like to study for quite a long time, because university courses are normally a minimum of 3 years, so you want to make sure that you enjoy it enough to want to study it for that length of time and in that much detail. I was studying at A-level science-based subjects, so biology, chemistry, maths and geography at AS, and then I just dropped geography and took 3, but I might tell you a bit more about that and my experience with choosing subjects and what to drop a bit later in this video. I chose natural sciences because it's so broad. I can make the course very unique to me and tailor it to what I want to study, so that course was literally perfect for me because I didn't really want to narrow down my choices quite like straight away, so I chose natural sciences. But yeah, so then choose a university basically and then start applying. So that's tip number 1. My hair is so hot today. It's really hot and my hair's dark, so she's spoiling. But anyway, okay, tip number 2, make sure that you are getting good grades and that you do well in the subjects that will count towards your entrance into the university. Just make sure that you're studying hard, you're trying your best, you're getting good grades, you're seeing progress, you're learning from your mistakes. Just do all that stuff. At the end of the day, the grades are the things that will determine whether you'll get that place at the university or not. Not really much else to say about that one. Tip number 3. So 3 and 4 will be based on your personal statement. Firstly, with your personal statement, I would say make it different. Try and make it stand out a bit. The people that read them, whether Cambridge and Oxford read them, or I heard that they might even not read it. Why? I put so much effort into that. If they read it or not, you may as well try to make it the best that you possibly can. My advice to you would be to try and make it as unique and individual as possible, because in that way you will stand out from all the other applicants and maybe put yourself in a better position to get that place. So try and find something that's very unique to you and try and tie that into the course that you want to study. So with me, I decided to start my personal statement with something about my interest in dance and personal fitness and performance. I thought that it would be quite different to start with it. I was in Billy Elliot the musical when I was a bit younger, and I thought I would just start with that, and I tied it into my whole passion. Don't say passion in your personal statement. Anyway, I shall use it now. My passion for like dance and fitness, and then I tied it into like natural sciences because I love learning about the body, how it works. I decided to start with that. I was like, why not? It may have been quite a big gamble to take, I don't know, but I just wanted to maybe step outside the box a bit and do something a bit different, because everyone has this sort of like structure to follow. You're always advised by teachers and people that come to talk to you about how you should do it, but I just thought it would be quite different and very personal to me, hence personal statement, to start with that. Tip number 4 is to do your personal statement again, getting other people, everyone that you possibly can, to try maybe read your personal statement and get some constructive criticism back from them. I asked my parents, my sister, teachers. The more eyes and the more individuals that you get to read your personal statement, the more you'll be able to improve it and make it even better. Don't ask too many people, like literally don't give it out to everyone, because then it will just be like unmanageable to like change it to fit their critique. But just give it to a few different people, get them to read it, get them to give you some advice. I think it really helped me because I was then able to change it and make it even better until I got to this final draft and I was like, yes, I think it's ready. Having said that, don't change it so much that it doesn't become personal to you anymore, because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to write it, you're the one who is applying, not anyone else. Also, don't be afraid to do multiple drafts. I did quite a few, but that's fine because your first one's never going to be the final draft. My first one, I don't know what I was writing about. Literally awful. I was like, what am I doing? It doesn't matter because then I will see that anyway. Okay, over the page. Tip number 5, I would say, is to read around your subject. Read books, read magazines, read articles online, journals online, anything to do with your subject, read it. Broaden your knowledge of the subject, because if you're asked to come up for an interview or write a personal statement, yes, you need to talk about stuff that you have done to show that you are willing to study that subject, you enjoy that subject, and you love finding out more about the subject. I read one book. Like, you don't have to go and read like every single book or every single journal. I read this book, The Epigenetics Revolution. As you can see, I put loads of like labels in it, which are the bits that I liked and the first ones to maybe look back at. I didn't know about epigenetics before I read it. It was really good. So I also wrote about this in my personal statement. I also read some of the New Scientist magazines, so I have some here. What's the beef? How ironic. I did actually have tons of these magazines. How I got them? I got loads, and I haven't got them anymore, so I can't really show you how many I had. But I actually managed, with the help of my mum, we got loads of these magazines for free because we used this online website called FreeCycle, where people put things on and basically donate them for free so that other people can get them. I did buy some of the latest one, so I bought the latest one leading up to my interview so that I could check it out and see what was going on before my interview. And I'm not saying I didn't read all of those magazines, no. Literally skimmed through some of them, looked to see if there were any articles that I thought would be good to read. Also, I would read some like online lectures or podcasts that are always good to listen to or to watch. Tip number 6, actively do something to show that you loved your subject. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do some work experience, because work experience is really good to write on your personal statement as well. I did work experience in a vet. I briefly mentioned that in my personal statement, and I also did work experience in a lab at King's College in London, where I was like working alongside like PhD students and postgrads, and they were just looking at psoriasis. Other than work experience, you could also go to lectures, also held in London. I'm sure there would be lectures held at like Oxford and Cambridge. I didn't do that, but I know other people have done and they found it useful and they could write about it. So anything that you can write about on your personal statement, basically, you may as well think about doing it. It's quite good. Number 7 is stay current with the news. So that kind of ties into like reading and the stuff I've just mentioned, but keep current with the news, have some like wider knowledge of the world, general knowledge, especially regarding your subject. Tying in all those points that I kind of said before, I would advise, say if you've read a book or if you listen to a lecture and you've learnt something from it, I would maybe think about writing it down somewhere. So what I did was I made this. I literally wrote down stuff about stuff that I'd read and learned more about. So this was literally my Bible for applying, especially for Cambridge, because the interview process, the interviews are quite in the deep end of the swimming pool. They're challenging, but I have some statement in it, loads of mine about my work experience I wrote in here. I wrote down stuff from about there. It was really useful to me. I really strongly advise you do that if you are thinking about applying to a Russell Group University or Cambridge or Oxford, but at the same time any university is really useful. So that would be my biggest piece of advice based on what I did and my experience, and yeah, I just think that was a really good way to do it. 8, I think, about the interviews. I can't speak a lot about my interview because it would be the majority of this video. If you want a video about my interview, like, leave a comment down below and I'll think about maybe doing a video about my interview specifically. Regarding the interview, I think the #1 piece of advice for people who get asked to come for any interview, but especially for those at Cambridge and Oxford, is to literally don't sit there and say nothing. Try and answer every question and just think your thoughts aloud. Like, it doesn't matter if you get it wrong. I'm sure I said things that were wrong in my interview, but I was having a go. I was trying to answer every question that they asked me and find a solution or an answer to it, but I was given this piece of advice and literally it is the best piece of advice. Just talk. Tip number 10. Okay, tip number 10, I would say, no, we're not on 10. Tip number 9, this is tip number 9, is to use your teachers at school to help you and give you advice, because at the end of the day, they're the ones with... The teachers are the ones who have the most experience and they're there to help you at the end of the day. Ask your teachers, literally go to them and ask them if they can give you a practice interview or they can help you, or you can talk to them about stuff, because that's what I did. I had a practice interview with one of my biology teachers and that was really, really useful. I learned a lot from it and it helped me practice. They can't really say no. And finally, tip number 10, I would say, is don't just have your head in your books. Don't just study all the time. So I had singing lessons, I went to dancing, I also did a lot of running. Looking back on it, and if I was to repeat the whole process and I would give myself advice, I would say that I needed to be a bit more relaxed and chilled out about the whole process, because I get very stressed and I need to take my own advice, because stress isn't good for our bodies. We don't work well with too much stress on our bodies. So I would say to myself and to any of you out there, make sure that you take breaks, you eat well, ideally be a vegan, because back then I wasn't a vegan, so I would say be a vegan. You have so much energy, and hydrate so that you have lots of water and your brain can function at its best. If you're applying for Cambridge and Oxford, yes, it will be hard, it will be a challenge, you'll have to work hard, but it's not the be all end all. Don't stress out people. I wasn't in the best mental state when I did my A-levels and going back a few years, so I would just say to myself that, and anyone, like, don't get too worked up about it. Be happy at the end of the day. You want to smile in the interview, give them a good old Jesus smile. Yeah, so that is my top 10 tips video for you all today. Oh my gosh, I'm literally so hot. Okay, final thing I would say, I had a question and I would like to kind of address it just at the end, just a little thing. What would I have done differently? I would have been in a better mental state. But regarding the actual application process, as I said, I studied biology, chemistry, maths and geography at AS, and then I dropped geography, but I dropped geography halfway through my second year of A-levels. But if I'd done it differently, I probably would have dropped geography straight away. I knew when I was applying that they didn't want geography for natural sciences, they just wanted 2 A stars and an A in science-based subjects. I would have loved to continue it, but I did decide to drop it just to give myself, take the pressure off a bit and give me a bit more time. I would just say to look at what the university requires for your course and don't maybe do extra work at the expense of like your time and having time to yourself and to do things that you want to do. But yes, that is my top 10 tips for making a successful application. But as I say, it's for Cambridge, but apply it to any other university. Take this as bias, take what you need from this video. I hope you learned something, I hope it was useful for you. It's basically everything for this video, I think. Have any other questions, like feel free to leave them in the comments, I'll try and answer them for you. I hope you have a very nice weekend and I'll see you next Sunday for my next video, everybody. Bye! Is perfect for vegans. You don't need any florally or whatever smell to counteract your body odors because you don't really have any.